This year, our Lucha leaders participated in March Book Madness, where we read 16 different stories that featured characters who were brave and bold. Well, as we progressed from round to round, we had one winner that emerged as the favorite book from this year's March Book Madness, and that was Rescue and Jessica, A Life Changing Friendship. We were thrilled when we reached out to the illustrator Scott Magoon, and he agreed to interview with Mrs. Burt. We hope that you enjoy this wonderful conversation. Hello, Lucha leaders. We are so excited to have a very special guest here today with us. We have just finished up our March Book Madness, and the winner for Lucha, as you all know, has been the book Rescue and Jessica. And we are joined today with the illustrator of Rescue and Jessica, Scott Magoon. Thank you so much for agreeing to do an interview with us and being present for our Lucha leaders.
So you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. So we want to just know a little bit about your journey to becoming an illustrator. When did you decide that that was what you wanted to do, and how did you get into it?
Yes. Well, like so many of us, I loved to draw when I was younger and just always kept drawing, never really stopped drawing. My first drawing, I think my mom told me, was a chicken. So I had very inauspicious, very simple beginnings. But I just never really stopped drawing. I had a comic strip when I went to college. And that was my first real kind of paying job that showed me I could earn money for my drawings, and that was really exciting to me. So I kind of just kept at it, and one thing led to another. I started doing some animations for another author out there. His name is Peter Reynolds, and he kind of introduced me to the book publishing aspects of illustration. And I started to work at a book publisher, designing other illustrators' books and other authors' books. And that connected me with all kinds of people in the book industry, in the book world. And one thing led to another until I was asked by a coworker of mine if maybe I wanted to draw her book, her manuscript. And that was it. Now, that was my first book. That was called Ugly Fish. That's how I kind of fell into this crazy publishing world.
Wow, very, very exciting. And so you have also done more than just illustrating, you've also authored some of your own books as well. And so what was
That's
that
right.
evolution? Which came first? The illustrating came first.
Right. Right. I think so. Definitely the artwork came first, but I love to read and I love to write. I studied English at college, but with the comic strip that I had in college, that kind of pulled in the artwork. And then the comic strip, obviously you'd have to write the story. So that was like the first time where I kind of put those two pieces together. But definitely art came first, then the reading, then the writing. I love bringing those different elements together to make books. It's really fun, really exciting. I love it.
Very nice. Well, you're amazing at it too. And you have, what's the title, the number of books that you have on your belt? You keep a running tab of how many official published picture books you have?
I have 28, I believe, published books. Of those, I've written and illustrated 5. So those are the ones where I did both the words and the pictures, if that makes sense. Yeah. The other books in that total are ones that I've illustrated for other authors.
Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about Rescue and Jessica. So this book has just hit our Lucha community by storm. As soon as we read it, as soon as I read it, I just fell in love with the story. I actually went to school in Boston too. So obviously the setting of the story and the history behind the story has such a special meaning to me as well. But it seemed like kind of a random pairing that you did not know Jessica and Patrick prior to being connected via the publisher. Is that true?
That is true, yes. We were matched up by way of the publisher Candlewick Press. And that was the that was the business, that was the publisher I was working for way back when. So I had many friends at that business, and that they knew that I illustrated books, of course. They also knew that I was running the year in 2013, the year of the bombing. So they thought maybe I would be interested in collaborating with Patrick and Jessica for those reasons. And of course, I was so nervous when I got the call and they told me all about the project, because there was a lot to it. And it was going to be illustrated in a style that was different than I had been used to working in, less cartoony, more realistic. So I was really nervous. I wanted to do a great job for everybody, not just readers, but of course for Patrick and Jessica and Kenwood. But of course, I couldn't turn it down. I had to give it a shot. And so I did some practice drawings of Jessica, of Rescue, and I sent those to the publisher. And thankfully, they loved them. With a few tweaks, they really liked what I had turned in. And we just kind of took it from there. And it became this incredible project of which I am so proud. And I am so happy that it's gone over so well in your community. I'm really grateful to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what makes the book so special, is just the realism of it. Obviously, it's a true story of the service dog who is
Right.
basically supporting Jessica as she is coming over, having been a part of the Boston Marathon and losing her legs. And I love that the story focuses on the next chapter, right? What the
Yes.
bond between Rescue and Jessica does to bring hope to them. And I think something that is so important is the realism in the pictures. And I know that that must have been, like you said, different than the style you've usually done. What was the background like for that? How did you study? Did you meet Rescue and Jessica prior to it? Where did you get how did you study and prepare for this role?
Wow, there was, as you might guess, there was so much to kind of catch up on and make myself familiar with, not least of which how to draw a black lab, which is what Rescue is, and drawing it in a way that isn't too cartoony. We wanted to find a balance between, realistic drawings and sort of softer cartoonish drawings. I met with Patrick and Jessica, much like you and I are talking now. That's how I met Patrick and Jessica for the first time, was through a video chat. And as we talked, they're just such wonderful, open, honest, and happy people that they put you right at ease. And I felt, even in that first call, a connection with them. They also live very nearby, so we're able to visit with them from time to time. And we did that. My family and I went to meet them and met Rescue for the first time. And he is just as lovely and charming and wonderful as they are. So we had that chance to meet with each other pretty frequently. They also, Patrick and Jessica, sent me a ton of reference photos from their lives and of their prosthetics and of Rescue. And that helped a lot, to have pictures to look at and videos to look at. And refer to those when I was doing my artwork. Jessica was so funny. She thought for sure I would have to move in with them for the duration of when I was working on the book, just to get all the details right. I assured her that wasn't necessary. Pictures and videos would be fine. I think it turned out all right. We weren't too concerned about getting the prosthetics, the artificial limbs exactly right, because we want this book to be around for many years to come. And as technology improves, as the prosthetics improve, they will look different from how they look today. And so if we made them look too much like they do today, 10 years from now, the book might look old, it might look dated. And we want this book to last forever and ever. So we weren't too concerned about getting them exactly right, but hopefully they indicate what prosthetics do and more or less what they look like for amputees.
Right, absolutely. Well, and I think the setting of it, so you are from the Boston area, obviously, and this story
Yes.
takes place in Boston, and that's such a huge part of the book. And I just think the beauty at the final page as well is one that really stuck with people, of the Boston footbridge at the Boston Public Gardens. And so
That's right.
saw a previous interview that you did speaking of the symbolism of this. So you want to share a little bit
Oh,
about?
yes. Yes, thanks for asking. There's a lot of meaning in this drawing, both meaning that I intended to include and meaning I didn't realize was there, but learned about later. In this scene we have, it's at the end of the book, and it's Jessica and Rescue and her family walking from one side of a body of water to the other. It's in the Boston Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the same park that Make Way for Ducklings takes place in. So that's why I have little ducks down the corner. A little shout out to Robert McCloskey's book, Make Way for Ducklings. And she's also crossing from blue, sort of dreary blue colors into bright oranges and pinks and salmon pinks and greens. That's sort of suggesting that her brightest days lay ahead of her, and she's leaving the sort of dreary experiences she's had behind her. Her family is with her. They're on a bridge that hopefully it symbolizes a bunch of things. Mainly, I really thought the prosthetic legs are a kind of bridge for the wearer. They make a bridge from the wearer to the earth, to the rest of the world. And I thought it was really significant that they were walking across the bridge there. What else can I tell you about that spot? Well, that spot, I didn't learn about until later. That is where Patrick asked Jessica to marry him.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yes. And I did not know that as I was sketching out this scene. I just wanted a scene of them walking into the sunset together. Wow. And that sunset scene actually happens every day in Boston. So that's why I put it in there as well, was to get them walking off into the sunset. But he told me later that that's where, in fact, he proposed to Jessica. So that was
wow, I just got goosebumps all over.
I know, we did too. We did too when we all talked about it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's just incredible. And I just feel like that epitomizes the message of this story, right? That there's so much hope despite all the obstacles that one might face. There's always this brighter future ahead. And I also feel like maybe part of the reason this book went over so well was because it speaks so much to what we're going through right now. I mean, what do you see as the current events of where we're at, and how this book might fit into that message?
I think you're exactly right. I think that we are better, just like Rescue and Jessica are. I think we're better together. And as we sort of hunker down with those we care about, with our families and friends whenever possible, I think that we can show each other that if we stick together and work together, we're going to get through the dark times together. There's always, even in the darkest hour, there's a little bit of light somewhere. And that's what this book, I think, seeks to find and shows, that we're stronger together. There's always a little bit of light somewhere. And I couldn't be more proud to have that book out there to kind of exemplifying.
Yeah, well, I think it was the perfect time for us as the Lucha community to read it, to enjoy it, and to just have it speak to us so profoundly. And that's part of what our school's all about too, that we are a united community, that we are working together. And so we just are so excited that you could bring this to us during this time, and more too. I think that part of what we're going through, there's so many negatives that are happening right now, but there's a lot of silver linings that are coming out of it too. Right. And I feel like one of those is just the outpouring of talents and skills being shared more profoundly. And I came across the Scott's Studio Story Time, something that you've been doing to post on Wednesday afternoons. Tell me a little bit about what made you start that up, and where did that come from?
Well, thanks for mentioning it. I love doing them. They came as a result of a couple of things. I had a bunch of school visits planned over the next couple months. And of course, schools had to cancel my appearances at the schools for obvious reasons, school being out. And I just felt like, maybe I could just do these sort of virtual school visits and put them up online for people to enjoy and share my books. My publishers have been great about letting me share read alouds for a short period of time and leave them up online. I also wanted to bring my boys, I have two teenagers into the production of the show. So my oldest son does the editing, and my middle son does the camera work. And then my wife is the production supervisor, so it's which means she reviews the episodes at the end to make sure they're all, make sense. So it's been a family collaboration from that standpoint, and I just want to sort of get people creating and having fun, reading aloud with me, drawing along with me, a little bit of a distraction to kind of take away from what's going on out there. Just kind of have fun creating stuff together. All of those reasons, I guess. There's no one simple answer, but I do like doing them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something we encourage our lucha leaders to check out. Scott's Studio Storytime. They're doing them every Wednesday, or they're posting every Wednesday?
Yeah, I post them every Wednesday, very early Wednesday morning. Actually, it'll probably be 12:15 a.m. your time.
Right.
So you can get them when you wake up on Wednesday mornings, and you can watch them anytime. They're just posted on YouTube.
Very nice. Yeah, and I think it's been great. I mean, going virtual with our schooling also provides us opportunities to send students into their passion, right? If you love to draw and you love to create, this is a great time to really learn more of that and pursue those passion projects that you might have. And so a great opportunity for kids to who might be aspiring artists and aspiring illustrators to get to dabble a little bit with it. So very exciting.
I hope so. That's my hope. Yes. And there are many other authors who are doing similar things too. It's been a tremendous outpouring of our getting our work out and encouraging others to draw along with us too. So it's been nice to see.
Yes, well, absolutely. Well, we are so excited that we can get this message out to all of our lucha leaders to have them really learn more about the making of Rescue and Jessica and learn more about what it actually means to be an illustrator. So we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and to share your story, and just thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. It's been an honor to be here. And I just say, stay safe, everybody. Wash your hands. And we'll talk to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.